on a global map.
세계 박람회가 어울리는 도시, 미래를 향한 힘찬 도약. 부산에서 출발한 파도는 이미 세계를 향해 뻗어 나가고 있습니다. 2030 부산 세계 박람회. 부산이 시작하고 대한민국이 함께 이뤄갑니다. 이 캠페인은 지역과 함께하는 든든한 동반자, BNK 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Coming up next is Inside Out Busan with Laura McLucky and Min-Soo Shin. BFM 부산영어방송.
Hello, good evening and welcome to another episode of Inside Out Busan. It is, of course, a Tuesday. It's the 9th of May and we're live on the airwaves and in your living rooms, in your faces. So, how are you? What's going on?
Everybody pretty good, right?
Yeah, have you been missing us since yesterday? Now, one of the most commonly searched topics around the world these days is not what we look like, sadly, but it is how to disable emergency text alerts. 재난 문자 끄기. Did you know that?
Yeah, so following the pandemic, the frequency of emergency texts has increased by 131 times,
What?
leading to what's called message fatigue.
맞아요. Unfortunately, or fortunately, authorities have decided to stop sending non-urgent messages such as alerts about icy roads or overseas earthquakes, etc. via text.
네. You know, emergency text alerts certainly have a function that makes people prepare for any potential danger,
Yeah.
but 과유불급, too much is not always good.
맞아요.
Kindness is timeless. Love is so easy to give. It just takes a moment to show somebody that you care. To show somebody that you care. In the world that we live in, everybody wants to be so cool. Be in the in crowd. Got the hottest clothes, the hottest shoes. We're reading the tabloids, and we're flossing in the club. But the freshest thing that you can do is give someone your love. Kindness is timeless. Love is so easy to give. It just takes a moment to show somebody that you care. Kindness is timeless. Yeah. Love is so easy to give. It just takes a moment. Yeah. To give someone your love. To give someone your love. To give someone your love. Give someone your love. Give someone your love. The clothes that you're wearing, they will one day be out of style. In the car that you're driving, one day will max out in miles. Your hair and your makeup, and the time that it takes up. Can you take the same care of giving someone your love? Kindness is timeless. Love is so easy to give. It just takes a moment to show someone you care. Kindness is timeless. Yeah. Love is so easy to give. It just takes a moment. Yeah. To give someone your love. Give someone your love. never goes out of style. Love never goes out of style. Love never goes out of style. Give someone your love. Give your love. 'Cause kindness is timeless.
Oh, yeah. Sergio Mendes.
Sergio Mendes featuring India Ari. Timeless. Jijibong.
Titibong, 6:13 on the clock. Welcome to Inside Out Busan on 90.5 and 103.3 FM. It is, of course, BEFM, 부산영어방송입니다. 반갑습니다.
반갑습니다. Welcome.
Welcome.
네.
I'm Laura McCluckey.
And I'm Minsu Shin. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Happy Tuesday.
And a very warm Tuesday at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a warm Tuesday. Is it?
초여름. Oh, you mean Tuesday?
Tuesday.
네. 초여름
Tuesday.
날씨였지 않아요? 오늘?
Oh, yeah. I have a question.
Shoot.
Why is the Inside Out Busan sign not behind your head?
Why is it not behind
Can I
my
put it
head?
on?
Well, we can.
You talk and I'll do it.
Because a sign, I mean, it's important, right? People need to know what show that they're what show they're tuned into. Oh, 화내지 말고요. 아니요, 지금 부산만 보여요. 제 머리 때문에. A little more to one side. Yeah, there you go. That's me. So listeners, if you want to have a clue of what we're doing right now, log on to our YouTube. Yes, we are live, not only on the airwaves, but also on YouTube. You could chat with us there. Hit like, as well as subscribe to BEFM.
Yeah.
You could do all that on our YouTube.
Yes, you can.
Laura 고생했습니다.
네.
Well, getting to the topic at hand, do you think there's too many of these emergency text alerts?
Yes.
I mean, since the pandemic, it's almost become a part of just our daily lives. Like,
Yeah.
you expect like a message to come in today.
See, the thing is, for me, I think that the ones about the weather are kind of redundant. So there's like all of these emergency messages. Things like, however, the ones that we got over Children's Day.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like 비가 많이 와서
네.
뭐뭐 땡땡 행사가 취소되었습니다.
Okay.
So I think those are quite useful because those are like mass text messages.
Yeah.
And it tells you about events that have been cancelled because of the rain.
Yeah.
But I don't want to hear like 강풍주의. I don't want
Like-
to hear about that.
Like continuously, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
again
good to
and
get it
again and
like,
again.
yeah, like once like during that time, or maybe like when the strong winds are going to be at its peak, right?
Yes.
But like a continuous, like by the hour.
So it's like I want to have one 3 hours before the dangerous time to be told, get into your house, idiot. It's dangerous out there. And then I don't want to have any more because you've already told me. And if you keep sending me them, I ignore them. I just swipe away. I don't care. And you know the ones I do like?
Which ones?
The ones that they tell you this vulnerable person is missing.
Oh yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
I think.
Like, those are so important.
And especially, if you're in the district or nearby, like they alert you right away.
Yeah.
And like it makes people keep an eye out
Yeah.
on like, missing persons.
Yeah, exactly. Those are really good. And I
Yeah.
think that's really important because vulnerable people out and about can be spotted if we all have these text messages.
맞아요.
So I think that's important. But like, don't tell me about the wind 25 times. Yeah. But anyway, but I mean, because of the pandemic, we used to get these alerts all the time, didn't
Yeah.
we? And many experts have worried that this notification system, it might just be, a scenario like the well-known fable, 양치 기소년, the boy who cried wolf.
Wolf.
So
Wolf.
basically, undermines any protection that these disaster warnings would have had because it's like, disaster,
맞아요.
disaster. And everyone's numb to it. And then there
맞아요.
was a real one and you ignore it.
So the government plans to review overall operations of actually the emergency text alerts, maybe even lowering the sound of the alerts sent at late hours especially, right, is among the measures being reviewed. So what are the specific changes that they're looking at?
Well, the Ministry of Public Administration and Security does not send simple information such as, watch out for icy roads during rush hour in the case of heavy rain, typhoons, and heavy snow. So starting tomorrow, the 10th, the authorities will send emergency text alerts only when the roads are closed.
Good to know. 그리고 지진 재난 문자에 대한 규정도 바뀌었는데요. So starting next year, the Korea Meteorological Administration, they plan to prevent emergency text alerts from being sent to residents in distant areas who rarely feel earthquake vibrations, right? That might occur in cities, counties, and districts. So if it's not really going to affect them in any way, do they need to know?
No.
Right? Especially on their phones. You know,
No.
they might tune in on news and they'll know it through that.
And
But
that's
then-
the thing,
yeah.
right? I think also real-time on-the-road updates. So we need to update our AI technology for real-time road alerts. So when you're driving on the road, you've got information that comes through your GPS.
Yes.
Or even on the road signs that says icy roads.
맞아요.
조심해라.
Yeah. And you could get them in real time too. I
Yeah.
feel like exactly like where you are and if you're in that vicinity, that area. So technology is very useful in that way.
Like
so
Minority Report.
oh yeah, they'll know it even before it happens.
They'll scan your
right?
eyeballs and they'll know which one that which voice you want to hear. Irish male for me, please. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So listeners, you are now in the know of the changes that will take place for the emergency text alerts. We do also want to let you know once again that we are live streaming our broadcast 보이는 방송 중입니다 on BFM's YouTube. Log in, say hi. 우리 벌써 오겹살 좋아님. Hi, 로민. Hi to you, 우리 오겹살 좋아님. 저도 오겹살 좋아하는데요.
좋아요. 진짜 배고파.
All right, moving right along with our show. Christine with today's News Bites.
Yes, Christine's in the studio. She's brought us gifts with
Drawings on them today.
with little drawings.
I got You the Best on my script.
Mine says, "You matter."
Oh,
PD Neems one says, "You're loved."
very encouraging words,
And
messages.
What are they? Are these eggs? Ghosts?
I think they're ghosts. Mine looks like a
Marshmallows?
ghost.
They're just blobs. I got lazy.
Right?
I like it.
Like generic blobs.
Yeah,
But
that's
the
me, that's
message,
me.
the message is what counts. Christine, how are you doing today?
I'm feeling a little tired today, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
Ooh, I like your lip color. It's very shiny.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I'm on camera. I've got to not look like a ghost.
And listeners, if you
Yeah.
want to look at Laura's lip color, log into our YouTube, BFM, right? And then you could look at
It's mesmerizing.
how glossy your lips are. But let's get to news first. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so ahead of President Yoon Suk-yeol's anniversary of inauguration tomorrow, he highlighted today that his administration has made some big differences in diplomacy and national security.
All right. Let's start with diplomacy then. What did he have to say about that?
So Yoon was speaking in a cabinet meeting today when he mentioned Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's remarks in Seoul earlier this week. Kishida had expressed sorrow over the harsh treatment and suffering experienced by Korean victims of Japan's wartime forced labor. And the president also talked about the significance of Tokyo letting South Korean experts inspect plans to release radioactive wastewater from the crippled Fukushima nuclear power plant. At the same time, he separately commented that he is committed to moving relations with Japan further along in the future. He said that the two countries can open a new future even better than the best point of the past. The recent summit with Kishida marked the resumption of what they are calling the shuttle diplomacy between the two countries' leaders after a 12-year hiatus of not having any summits.
Right, quite a long time, right? So this all follows Kishida's recent trip to South Korea. You also mentioned security, right? What did President Yoon have to say about that?
So the president also stated that the South Korea-U.S. alliance had been restored with his first summit with U.S. President Joe Biden in Seoul, taking place only 11 days into him taking office. And Yoon emphasized the significance of the recent Washington declaration about strengthened U.S. extended deterrence as one of the key changes in national security policy regarding North Korea. And looking ahead, there's the trilateral summit with the leaders of the U.S. and Japan on the sidelines of the Group of Seven, or G7 summit in Hiroshima later this month. Yoon also pledged to strengthen the three-way security solidarity for regional peace and stability.
All right. Well, I'm getting the overall message that cooperation between the countries, U.S., South Korea, and Japan, that's the main message. It looks like the theme of the diplomacy and national security that President Yoon had updated the country on. So I guess we could take that as good news, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Thank you so much for that. What is next?
Let's talk about Ra Deok-yeon, a key suspect of a significant stock manipulation case that has recently impacted the local financial markets. Today, prosecutors arrested Ra, who leads an unregistered investment consulting firm. He was taken from his residence and to the Seoul Southern District Prosecutor's Office.
Okay, so tell us a bit more about this case.
So his company was at the center of the recent stock price collapse of 9 companies. The shares of these 9 listed companies had been consistently rising for years before they plummeted at the end of last month because of mass sell-offs. About 1,000 investors are said to have suffered a huge loss from this, and they estimate the loss to total around 800 billion to 1 trillion won.
Wow.
Goodness.
That's up to 755 million US dollars.
Yeah. So how was Ra allegedly involved in this?
So Ra is suspected of having manipulated the prices of the stocks through what is known as order matching technique. Now, this is actually illegal, but it's a fake transaction in which the buyer and seller trade stocks at a predetermined price and time, and it can make the trading volume look a lot bigger than it actually is. And he's also accused of concealing parts of the investment proceeds and evading taxes through his business entities. And of course, he also faces the fact that his business is unregistered. About 60 of his clients have claimed to have lost 100 billion won and filed criminal complaint against him. And then 6 others joined this afternoon as well on charges of things like fraud, breach of trust, and concealment of criminal proceeds.
Wow. That's a lot of money.
That is.
Yeah.
It goes to show you that transparency will keep you on
Transparency is
this
very important.
safe side, right?
It's very important. All right, what's up next?
Let's talk about electric vehicles because South Korea's finance ministry plans to expand support for the EV sector through a new tax code aimed at assisting strategic industries. So this follows the approval of a bill through the National Assembly that offers a tax credit rate of 15% for facility investment in strategic industries like electric vehicle and chips. And this is raised from the previous 8% tax credit.
Oh, okay. So then what are some of the other legal changes made through the new tax code?
So first of all, the tax rate for small and medium-sized businesses rose from the current 16% to now 25%. And an additional 10% cut will be applied for the increased amount of investments compared with the average of the previous 3 years. So lots of increases in the tax cuts there. The government's decision to offer these benefits to the EV industry is because of the recent emergence of automobiles as the new growth engine for our exports, because South Korea has been seeing a lot of trouble with its exports with the global economic uncertainties.
Yeah. And electric vehicles are for sure, one of considered, the ways of the future, right? Even now, I think a lot of people are opting for electric vehicles, and there's a lot of potential in that industry. So hopefully this works out for our country, especially.
That's right.
On to our last bit of news.
I do have a couple of news reports coming out of Japan regarding the relations with South Korea recently. First is a report from a Japanese daily that South Korea, the U.S., and Japan are set to agree on instantly sharing radar systems data related to detecting and tracking missile activities from North Korea.
That is a little bit scary. Also, just very interesting that this is, again, U.S., Korea, Japan news. Tell us a bit more about this report.
So this is according to Yomiuri Shinbun that said today that the agreement is expected to be reached during the trilateral defense ministers meeting early next month in Singapore. And the goal is set for an early operation of sharing of this data of radar and other command control systems that are not just coming from South Korea's military and the U.S. forces, Korea and U.S. forces Japan, but also Japan's self-defense forces as well. And this is something that would be accessible and shared through a previous agreement signed in 2014. So that's the report on that. But we also have some more reporting regarding the recent summit agreements between President Yoon and Prime Minister Kishida.
So tell us about this report. What's that about?
Yeah, so the Japanese foreign minister talked a little bit about the plan to have South Korea's experts examine the wastewater release plan at Fukushima. And the foreign minister expressed hope for this, saying that hopefully this can increase South Korea's understanding of the safety. But at the same time, Kyodo News reported that the industry minister said that the inspectors are not going to actually assess or verify the safety of the water itself. That's not what the trip is about. They're just going to get a briefing on the water storage and the construction of the release facility, but they will not be looking at whether or not the wastewater is safe.
So, I mean, again, it's very controversial depending on which side you're on.
Yeah.
But hopefully everything is done as safely as possible because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop it.
Yeah, I think that's why all these, inspections, and meetings and, inspection teams traveling, back and forth. That's what it's all about, right? As long as everything's done as safe as possible.
Yeah.
Christine, thank you so much. That will do it for today's News Bites. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Christy.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, this is BTS, Yet to Come.
Was it honestly the best? Cause I just wanna see the next 부지런히 지나온
어제들 속에 참 아름답게
Yeah, the past was honestly the best But my best is what comes next I'm not playing now for sure 그날을 향해 숨이 벅차게 You and the best moment is yet to come The moment is yet to come Yeah 다들 언제부턴가 말하네 우리 최고라고 원통할 수 없는 news 이제 무겁기만 해 노래가 좋았다고 그저 달랠 뿐이라고 Promise that we'll keep on coming back for more 너의 마음속 깊은 어딘가 여전한 소년이 있어 My moment is yet to come Yet to come
당신은 꿈꾸는가 그 길의 끝이 무엇일까
Moment is yet to come
모두가 숨죽인 밤 우린 발을 멈추지 않나
Yet to come
We're gonna touch the sky For the day we die
Moment is yet to come
자 이제 시작이야 The best yet to come
언젠가부터 붙은 불편한 수식어 최고란 말은 아직까지 난 간지러워 난 말야 강음하게 좋은 걸 예전에 그때와 다르게 별로
아마 다른 게 별로 없다면 you say it's all a lie 난 변화는 많았지만 변함은 없었다 해 어느 샷도 매 순간이 새로운 트레서 지금 난 마치 13살 그때 나처럼
아직도 배울 게 많고 나 인생 채울 게 많아 그 이유를 물어본다면 내 심장이 말하잖아 We ain't about it 이 세상의 기대 We ain't about it 최고란 기준 내 style We ain't about it
원간 갖고 수많은 trophy
We ain't about it
Dream and hope and going for
We so about it
긴긴 원을 돌아 결국 또 제자리 Back to one
너의 마음속 깊은 어딘가 여전한 소년이 있어
Moment is yet to come Yet to come
당신은 꿈꾸는가 그 길의 끝이 무엇일까
Moment is yet to come
모두가 숨죽인 밤 우린 발을 멈추지 않나
Yet to come
We're gonna touch the sky For the day we die
Moment is yet to come
자 이제 시작이야 The best yet to come
The best Cause I just wanna see the next 눈부시게 지나온 기억들 속에 참 아름답게 Yeah the past was honestly the best my best is what comes next. Never seeing it till the more. 그날을 향해 떠오르게. You and the best moment is yet to come.
Oh, I do love a little bit of BTS on a Tuesday evening. Welcome back to the show. It is, of course, Inside Out Busan on 90.5, 103.3 FM. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. And welcome to everybody on our YouTubes.
Hi.
안녕하세요.
You can see us. Go and search for BEFM or 부산영어방송 or
Yes.
Busan English Broadcasting on YouTube. And you can see us live streaming for 보는 방송, for live viewing. And you can see our faces.
You can.
Did you wash your hair today?
I did in the morning.
거짓말. Why are you wearing a hat then?
I mean, does it always mean that you haven't washed your hair when you wear a hat? Why am I even being defensive? I know I washed my hair. Did you wash your hair?
No. That's why I'm wearing a hat.
I mean, it's been a while though since
been
I
a while.
washed mine. It was early in the morning, so that's why I put it on. I thought that 살짝 that 냄새, that 꿉꿉한 냄새 from your head.
That happens in less than a day for you?
Yeah, because for people especially that have to use their noggins, throughout the whole day.
That's not how it works.
You know how your CPU heats up, like your computer, if you use it too much, how it
Yeah,
heats up. If you use your brain too much, the heat, it starts to
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're telling me that your head is exceptionally sweaty,
I mean, not sweaty, but a little smelly.
moist,
Moist.
Damp.
That's the best way to put
and
it.
a little bit of damp.
Right? Why are we getting all these EUs in the studio?
Speaking of damp, let's look at the weather. It's currently averaging 19 degrees Celsius here in Busan. Morning lows of 14 tomorrow morning, afternoon highs of 22. It will be looking like another warm and almost summer-like day in Busan tomorrow. Sunshine can be just as strong in May as it is in the summer, so please do make sure your skin is protected from the UV rays and drink lots and lots of water. 부산은 내일 낮에도 기온이 크게 오르겠고요. 그래서 자외선 지수도 매우 높겠습니다. 조심하세요.
Go. We have traffic. Let's see. Congestion on Hwangyangdaero from 상공회의소 going towards Hwangyang Tunnel. There's always congestion there. Also congestion on Puam Overpass from Jinyang Junction going towards the Yeonji three-way intersection. And there's also slow-moving traffic on Gwanghandaegyo from Hyunsugo going towards Namcheondong. So everybody,
Drive safe.
yes indeedy.
All right, it's time for the IOB 5분 상식. It's time for the IOB 5분 상식. I just said that. Getting you in the know of some of the most trending, useful, and need-to-know words and expressions in the whole wide world. 5분만 들으면 유식해지는 시간이죠.
네, 오늘의 5분 상식은요. 취재 형식인 deep background. I said that the same way in Korean and in English. 네, 이거 대해서 알아보도록 하겠습니다.
Newbie, 신기자.
네.
With only 10 minutes left until the 12 o'clock deadline, may I ask how the article is progressing?
Oh, 선배, no need to worry. So this article is accusing greenwash of corruption. I actually completed my coverage a week ago.
I know you're done, but did you verify the accuracy of the source? 출처가 정확해?
I exercise my right to remain silent from now on. 저는 묵비권을 행사합니다.
What? 신입 신기자. It's fundamental for reporters to have reliable sources for their coverage. Show me the article you wrote. I'm your 선배.
I learned deep background today, okay? So I'm going to follow the steps of deep background as a 기자, a reporter. 그래서 묵비권입니다.
Give it to me straight, 신입 신기자. You didn't actually write the article, did you? It's just your excuse. 그래서 삐딱하게 그러는 거지? 말해! 기사 썼어? 안 썼어? 대답해! You haven't written any articles in a month. 기사도 안 쓰고 쟤는 왜 그러냐? So at first, I was like, Valley Girl. And then I
little
was
bit.
like, hey, money!
갑자기 like in that 2-minute span, right? 나의 확
I never know what's going to happen. The character flows through me.
Yes. I mean,
You know?
that's how all acting should be.
Yeah.
On the spot, right?
Yeah.
All right. So today's 오분 상식, we're focusing on deep background. So that's the reason the newbie 신 기자 was not talking and exercising his right to remain silent. What does deep background mean?
Okay, deep background. It's a term used in journalism to describe information provided by a source that cannot be attributed to the source by name. So basically, it means the journalist may use the information to write an article, but they can't reveal the source of the information so that, you know, to protect identity or to avoid legal repercussions.
Ooh, I'm going to take advantage of this deep background. But isn't this the same as like off the record in journalism? What's the difference?
Okay, so different. Off the record means that the information cannot be published. So you can get information, but off the record, you can't actually publish it for your article. Deep background, on the other hand, means that the information provided by the source can be published, it can be reported, but the journalist can't reveal the source of the information. So with off the record, you can't use the info. It's just, you can't even write it down. It's off the record. But deep background, it means that, you know, you've got this information, but you can't reveal where it came from.
I mean, I see how it protects maybe the source.
Yeah.
But then I feel like people are going to use this like all willy-nilly. You know what I mean? Like say what they want.
Why would you
like
even say
on like, you
willy-nilly?
know, articles and stuff and say deep background.
Deep background. Where'd you find this information? Deep background.
Deep background. I was like, oh, okay, deep background. All right, I'll back
I
off.
made it up / deep background.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see where deep background, in what direction it's going to go. 네, 오늘의 5분 상식. 내용은 보도해도 되지만 취재원이나 기사의 출처를 밝혀서는 안 된다는 취재 협정입니다. Deep background. 오늘의 5분 상식이었습니다. 김대리, 퇴근하나?
예, 부장님.
집이 교회종이지? 같은 방향인데 같이 가지? 요즘 회사 생활 어떤가?
예, 저 열심히 잘하고 있습니다.
결혼 생활도 재밌지?
예, 뭐 즐겁죠, 예. 저 그 라디오라도 좀.
그래 라디오.
네가 저번 주에 온 신참인 것 같네.
22번 홀리면
진짜 회사 생활 쉽지 않다. 어색한 이 순간 인사이드아웃 부산과 함께하세요. 오늘은
Issue unboxing.
Yes, it's time for issue unboxing. Haley's in the studio. Hi, Haley.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
This is what Haley looks like.
This is what I look like. Hi.
is this her first time?
It's
her
not.
face being 공개?
But
we did this last week too,
we
right?
did, but I can do this again.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
gonna do it
sorry.
next week too.
Sorry, I
Just
didn't want to
on
steal
the
from your
show.
thunder.
Maybe I
was like,
want to
wait,
be
is this-
dramatic about my face unveiled.
Because I was just like, wait, is this Haley's debut on Inside Out
Welcome to
Busan?
my face.
This is my face. What my face looks like. I
Lots
think our producer's already tired. Oh no! Oh no!
She's already giving the blank stare into nothingness, right? Well, Haley, glad to have you for today's issue unboxing. What
Issue
are we going to
unboxing.
unbox today?
This is a very, very controversial issue. Nepo babies.
Nepo
Nepo
babies.
babies.
Nepo babies.
Nepo short for
Nepotism. Baby short for baby.
Baby.
Baby is
in a
not
fur.
short for anything.
No,
Babies are
they're
short for baby in the first.
Babies
Baby
are
in the
short.
first.
Although we're not only talking about infants, toddlers, we're talking about children of famous people. So in Korean, I have heard, well, listeners of a certain age, we all used the term 낙하산. We had 백. That anyone ring a bell? No one?
Wait,
We're all pretending to be young now.
there's a bunch of them, aren't there?
I have no idea what nakasan means.
You parachute,
Yeah.
so you're basically
Oh,
dropped
you're asking
off
what
from the
낙하산 is.
sky, and you parachute onto a position in a company.
Yeah.
But nepotism. Nepotism is, and we call it
Isn't
also.
that just like networking?
Wow, interesting point. We'll get to that. I mean, is it networking if your
Depends.
source is your
Depends.
parent.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then recently, I've seen this be referred to as 연예인 금수저, so celebrity silver spoon, golden spoon,
right?
babies. So these are children of celebrities who, from their birth, they're born into the limelight. Excuse me. The social media posts of their little feet upon birth or their face reveal gets millions of likes.
Yeah.
Right. And if they want to work in the entertainment industry, they have their life set. Right. So,
Basically,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because all you gotta do is just, make sure people see that last name.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is common everywhere, the world,
Oh, yeah.
US, South Korea, UK, what have you. And South Korea does have a variety of programs that actually feature celebrities taking care of their children. That's a huge industry. And the kids, I've seen them on advertisements, and I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
they make more than we do, possibly combined.
That's depressing.
That is depressing.
Now I'm
Let's
sad.
finish.
Issue unboxed by. Well,
Bye.
all right. So nepotism, baby, and it's this child of someone who's already successful. Let's name some names, shall we? And
All right.
they've always been there. We're gonna start with Oscar winner Jamie Lee Curtis.
Love her.
Love
Oh.
her.
She's
She's a nepo baby.
Nepo child?
And we're gonna actually listen to a clip from her in a bit, where she fully admits that she is a nepo baby. Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, her too?
Yeah, her too. Her mom is gorgeous. Her mom is a senior version of Gwyneth Paltrow, and her
okay.
daughter Apple is also a junior version, teenager now version of Gwyneth Paltrow.
Okay.
Teenager now.
Yeah,
And yet I haven't aged a day. Look at that.
no, you have not. Yeah, you were
Speak for
20 when
yourself.
she was born, and you're still 20.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep, that's how age works.
Yep.
Sophia Coppola.
Francis Coppola's daughter, right?
Yes, and
Godfather.
she's a very famous nepotism child, as her appearance in Godfather 3 was very controversial.
yeah.
People hated that. Zoe Kravitz, Maya Hawke, and Dakota Johnson. The list goes on and on and on.
Who's Dakota Johnson's parent?
Mr. and Mrs. Johnson.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Look it up.
think
You have the
so.
computer in front of you. All right, so let's work with this side. The
Talking about Don
end-
Johnson? I think
See,
Don
nobody
Johnson.
knows. This is the who
Sorry,
is
I
Dakota
cut you off.
Johnson?
No,
But
that's
that-
fine. I just
I bet you it's
Who
Don
the
Johnson.
Heck is Dakota.
While she looks that up, and listeners, this is what happens all the time. Now you just have a visual to the craziness that goes behind the microphone. Do we know?
Oh.
Yeah, that's because she's the 50 Shades of Grey
50
lady.
Shades of Grey.
Yeah. I don't know who her parents are.
Melanie Griffith.
Oh,
Griffith.
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 I always
And
said Griffith.
the father
And
is?
Don Johnson.
Don Johnson.
Who's
There
Don
we go.
Johnson?
Don Johnson's from, not Miami Vice.
Okay, I'm gonna cut this off
Yes.
because this is crazy. This is madness. All right, we're gonna talk about Nepo babies. Dakota Johnson, one of them, child
Yes.
to Melanie Griffith and Don Johnson. My gosh. So, side one, Nepo babies are entitled. It's unfair. We don't like them. All right.
I mean, I don't know all like I don't have like the list of all nepo babies, but like the nepo babies that I know of, they're doing pretty good for themselves. I feel like.
Okay, can I change your mind?
Oh, okay.
Kardashian.
Ooh, that's right. What?
I feel like, because not everybody decides to go into the same field as their parents, right? And I think if you have a way into the industry, you're going to utilize it. So I think it's unfair to call people nepo babies, really. I think if you're definitely riding the coattails of your parents in any industry without really working for it, then, that's not great. But, if I have an in the industry that isn't my parent, I'm still going to utilize it.
Well, what's interesting about the entertainment industry is that publicity is basically half of the work.
Yeah.
Right? The name value is kind of the other half of the work. So you could argue that there are Nepo babies in politics too, if you want to call it that. Justin Trudeau is a Nepo baby in a sense. The Kennedys, the
Yeah.
Bushes.
Yeah.
But no one would call George W. Bush a Nepo baby.
Well, they
Although-
would call him a different kind of baby. maybe.
I mean, there are names that people have called all of them, but the thing is, though, those individuals got voted into office.
Yeah.
There are other credentials. But the thing is, in the entertainment industry, you do get to bypass a lot of the work that other people do. And I'm arguing this side. So the entire Kardashian clan, that's spelled with a K, made their name for being Kardashian.
Yeah. See, let me give you a question.
Oh.
What is Kim Kardashian? Like, what do we label her? She's not an actor.
She's a celebrity.
She's not a model.
She's an influencer. She's a celebrity.
She's a celebrity.
That's her
her
career.
occupation.
I know,
Yeah.
like, see, I know celebrity was like, we give that title. I thought you have to be something to
You
be a
used
celebrity.
to. So I remember we did this Hogishim like months and months ago. It was about the death of celebrity. Back in the day, people used to be famous for something, and now people are famous for the sake of being famous.
Yeah.
Reality TV,
Yeah.
brands,
Yeah.
being ex-wife to Kanye West.
Yes.
Yeah. Although Kanye West now may be famous as being ex-husband to Kim Kardashian,
Sure.
depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that entire family. Well, the problem is when they become short-sighted about the privilege that they have.
Yes.
And they don't recognize this advantage, and they claim that they work just as hard as anyone else. And I am going to name names because she actually said this. So Lily Rose Depp, can you guess who her parent is?
Johnny Depp.
Is he the world's most famous pirate? Yes, I think so. So she has a very successful modeling career. She's 160 centimeters tall. She's 5'3" for American
160.
listeners.
Same as me.
Same as you. Yeah. And she is a muse for the top French designer brand that sounds like Channel in my terrible American accent. So that one, the
Channel.
the Channel,
Channels
yeah.
and the Goosies.
Yeah.
Right?
So, and then she posted, quote, I'm quoting her, people are going to be have preconceived ideas about who you are or how you got there. And she can definitely say that nothing is going to get you the part except for being right for the part. Maybe she got her foot in the door, but she still has to have, it's just a foot in the door, and there's still a lot of work that comes after that. So some may see this as a bit tone deaf. A little sheltered. This earned her a lot of criticism because considering her height, I mean, she is beautiful. She's talented. Talent is very subjective, but just considering her height, that would not have gotten her far in the modeling industry. And another very famous model, also the model for the same brand, said that how about not being able to pay for your flight back home to your family and then waiting hours at a fitting or a casting just to see a Nepo baby walk past you to the front of the line.
Mic drop. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it. I mean, is the thing like because she's 5'3", is that the only thing a lot of people are kind of like, oh, like compared to the other
Well,
models?
okay, this is very subjective. So people have, seen her walk on runways and said she doesn't quite measure up to the other models. But once again, the entertainment industry is so subjective. So let's go to the other side,
Okay.
who say, well, directors, casting directors, writers want to capitalize off of the famous name. And that is, unfortunately, how capitalism works. So that if that's what the public wants, that's what the public gets. And that is kind of the ultimate end-all be-all in entertainment, right? Yeah, so people, I mean, the Kardashians, all 5 of them, they have one of the largest followers on social media.
Yeah,
So
millions
obviously,
and
they are
millions.
popular.
But
And
what do they do? See, if I saw a Kardashian, I wouldn't know who it was. I have no idea what they look like, really.
Yeah.
They look kind of like very similar to one another, but like different. Well, because they're family, of course, obviously. But like, if you know one Kardashian, like you could tell, oh, like that's a Kardashian.
If it
She's
looks
a
like Kim,
Kardashian.
it's Courtney. If it doesn't look like Kim, it's Chloe. That's all I know.
See, that's the thing. Like, you could put up a bunch of now celebrities' pictures, and I would have no idea who they were. Because
Oh, we should
I-
play Who's This Celebrity game with
I
you
don't
next
buy
time.
into it. And that's the thing. Like, I really don't buy into this idea of being celebrity for celebrity's sake.
But
It's not fun for me.
you're in the
personally.
minority.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, look at the followers. And, even just in Korea, one of those childcare shows that there were these really cute triplets. They were adorable. They're in elementary school, I believe. And the these matching outfits that the triplet boys had on, they sold out like hotcakes. So obviously, this is really good advertisement and they're great models. So it is sometimes unfair, depending on who we're talking about, to say that just because they had a famous parent, they didn't get it handed to them. Some people are legitimately talented. Some people did work hard. To quote Gwyneth Paltrow, she did say, as a child of somebody, you get the access that other people don't have. However, once that foot is in the door, which you unfairly got in, and she recognizes that, but then they almost have to work twice as hard and be twice as good.
Yeah, I don't know if they have to work twice as hard and be twice as good. I don't think she's quite down to earth. And from other things that Ms. Paltrow has commented before, especially with her big brand and her TV show and all of that, I think her head is firmly in the clouds.
All right, so then let's turn to someone more likable, Jamie Lee Curtis, whom we love. So this is her speech and opening monologue at the SAG Awards. This is E! News.
And I know that so many people in our industry who are actors don't get to do this job, and you look at nights like this and think, is that ever going to be possible for me? And I know you look at me and think, well, Nepo baby, that's why she's there, and I totally get it. But the truth of the matter is I'm 64 years old, and this is just amazing.
She says this at the beginning of the show while spotlighting her career in Hollywood.
I got my SAG card when I was 19 years old, when I signed a 7-year contract to Universal Studios and starred in an ABC TV series called Operation Petticoat, which was based on a movie that my father, Tony Curtis, Nepo baby, starred in.
Yeah.
Self-awareness is key.
Yeah, I think owning up to it. And I think also kind of showing people that, she knows she's a Nepo baby, but she was grateful for the opportunity. And you look back on her career.
And she's phenomenal.
And she's worked hard.
And
Absolutely.
I think as well, when you look at Nepo babies, and I really hate that term actually, when you look at children of artists and actors and that kind of stuff, they grow up around the parents who are creatives, who are in this industry, and there's got to be something that rubs off and that inspires them to go into the same field if they want to.
Right, and it could be genetic. That could just be in their blood. I mean, there are Nepo babies who have surpassed their parents. For example, Miley Cyrus. She has a great career. Jennifer Aniston, Angelina Jolie, Ben Stiller, Liza Minnelli, Kurt Russell, Carrie Fisher, all very, very talented Nepo babies who have lived, outlived their name and really have proven themselves more than just the child of a famous parent.
Yeah.
And some of these children, they do actually drop their last names or change their names to not get so overshadowed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really depends on who you are, how much talent you possess, how hard you're willing to work, and honestly, how self-aware you are of the privilege that you have.
I think that's what it is, the self-awareness and being humble about it.
Yeah. Being grateful for the opportunity that you
and that's
got.
just life.
Yeah.
Regardless of who your parent is.
Right.
So,
Issues agreeing.
Unboxed.
Unboxed indeed. Today covering Nepo babies with Haley. Haley, we had a message that came in from 오겹살 좋아님. Haley 귀여워요.
맞아요.
너무
You're so
다행이네요,
nice.
Haley. 우리 이제 카메라가 있어서, right?
We've been saying Nepo babies so much, all I can hear in my head is Muppet babies, they'll make your dreams come true. You remember that?
I know Muppet Babies.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. Haley, we'll see you back here next week, okay?
Bye.
Bye.
It's time for us to say cheerio. We'll be back at 7 o'clock. This is Lewis Capaldi for Scotland. Wish you the best.
It's like Glasgow gets farther from LA. Maybe it's supposed to be this way. But oh my love, I wanna say I miss the green in your eyes. And when I said we could be friends, guess I lied. I wanna say I wish that you never left. Oh, but instead I only wish you the best. I wanna say without you everything's wrong, and you were Well, I can't help but notice you seem happier than ever now. And I guess that I should tell you I'm sorry. It seems I was the problem somehow.
지그재그로 움직인대.
누가?
척추 라인에 맞춰서 움직인대.
누가?
누구긴 누가 엔모션 프로지. 척추를 지그재그로 틀어 꾹꾹 눌러주는 움직임. 누가의 시그니처 모션. 누가 베스트 엔모션 프로. 가까운 누가페에서 만나요. 의료기기 광고입니다.
Hello, this is Busan Immigration Office. Have you heard of Korea Immigration and Integration Program?
What is the KIIP?
The Korea Immigration and Integration Program, KIIP, is a social integration training program by the Ministry of Justice to help immigrants adjust to life in South Korean society. It helps them develop basic knowledge of the Korean culture, language, and understanding Korean society, among others.
Ah, so is this a Korean language education for foreign nationals?
The KIIP is comprised of not only Korean language and cultural education, but also of programs on understanding Korean society. Immigrants can learn basic knowledge across the entire Korean society through this program.
That's interesting. Are there any other bonuses to completing the KIIP?
There are multiple benefits for those who complete the program, including exemptions from permanent or citizen naturalization tests and bonus points for residence permits.
Well, I'd better hurry up and go sign up. Thanks for the information.
For details, please visit www.socinet.go.kr. This was brought to you by Busan Immigration Office and BFM 부산영어방송.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
꼬리에 꼬리를 무는 품격 있는 토크. 시끄러워 죄송합니다. 로라 민수의 인싸이라 부산.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us here for Inside Out Busan. It's the second half of the show. We are live on air on 90.5, 103.3 FM, BEFM, 부산영어방송입니다. Also on the TUE, so you can see us and Minsu waving frantically.
Hi, everybody. Say hi on our YouTube. We are live. 네, 보이는 방송 중입니다. You could log on, chat away with us,
Yeah.
right? Also hit that subscribe and like button if you can.
Like and subscribe.
Pretty please.
Like and subscribe. My friend's son, who was 4 years old, came to my studio and he's walking around. He's emo, blah, 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 blah. I was like, what is he saying? My friend's like, he's saying like and subscribe. What? Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Oh, you got to hear my
yeah.
daughter say that. She has it down to like a science.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, 근데 한국말로요. 한국말로. Oh, it's scary sometimes.
구독하고 좋아요.
맞아요. 꼭꼭꼭 막 이렇게 하면서.
Is that why you do that too? 꼭꼭.
I think so. I picked it up from her.
구독하고 좋아요.
부탁드립니다.
네.
네.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm Laura McCluckey.
And I'm Min Soo-shin, by the way.
It's time for On the Mic. This is where our reporters head out into the world and they interview you, our citizens and visitors to our beautiful city of Busan. So let's see who's on the mic today.
All right, today we're going to talk to someone here in Busan and find out a little bit about their life. Hi, can you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Charles Irem from Nigeria.
All right, and how long have you been in Busan?
I came to Busan around March 2020, so that's about 3 years plus here now in Busan.
Wow, okay, tell us, why did you choose to come to Busan?
Actually, to be honest, I first traveled to China, so I found out that Asian people are really nice. So
Why did you travel there? Just for vacation?
yeah, just for vacation. So
Okay.
after that, I figured out that Korea also it's really a nice country, and they also speak a little bit English more than the Chinese. So I guess it will be easier to adapt here. So then that's why I chose Korea.
All right, so you've been here for 3 years now.
Yeah.
How do you compare Busan, Korea to Nigeria?
Busan is really, I would say, it's just the best of the other cities because it's more relaxing. Like Seoul, I don't even like to stay in Seoul because Seoul is quite a bit crowded. And Busan is just quite good for relaxing. And they have nice places, you know, like the Hende Beach and the Gwangali Beach. Some other places that are nice here. So.
And what's it like in Nigeria? Where are you from in Nigeria?
Well, I'm from the eastern part of Nigeria, like the Igbo culture. And it's quite interesting that we have something similar to the Korean culture.
Oh, like what is similar?
Like the greetings, like in Igbo culture, when we greet someone special or someone at high esteem, we bow down to greet them, just the way the Koreans do to greet people. And we also maintain the age.
Age is important.
The age hierarchy in Nigeria, same here as it is in Korea. So we pay a lot of respect to older ones. Yeah, so it's quite interesting when I found out.
And were you from a big city in Nigeria or from a smaller village? What kind of area were you from?
I'm from like the major cities. Yeah, that's one of the major cities in Nigeria.
And how is it similar to Busan?
Well, actually, Nigeria has a quite different culture, and it has a quite different environment from Busan.
In what way?
In the sense that we don't live in a crowded way like they live here in Busan.
So more spaced out?
Everyone lives spaced out. Even they have a plot of land as their compound, so they enjoy free environment, you know.
So here's the first time you've ever lived in like an apartment, let's say?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So how do you like living in an apartment in Korea?
Well, it's quite interesting because it's a different vibe. Yeah, so I have the chance to enjoy a different lifestyle. Yeah, so that's it.
And what has been your best memory since you moved to Busan?
Actually, I do have a lot of memories that I couldn't even remember which one was the best because everyone is really nice here. But there is something I figured out so far compared to Nigerian culture because in Nigeria, everyone are nice to strangers. Likewise too in Korea, they are nice to strangers as well, but there's something sometimes off about it. Sometimes I don't really know, maybe it's because of the Korean law, they don't try to help someone in a dire situation. So I really felt bad about that. Like there was a time I was walking, I saw a drunken man. He was drunk and was just falling down. I tried to lift him up. Someone said, hey, don't touch him, don't touch him. I said, what? You know, like in Nigeria, if anyone needs help and the strangers are passing by, everyone will just stop and try to give him a help. But here in Korea, it's quite different. But I just guess that it's because of the law, because here, I don't know how to put it. Is it the self-defense law? Like, the person can even report you and you get in trouble for helping. So I think that's the reason why they try to avoid such situation.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think you're right. And what do you want to say to people out there, maybe people from Nigeria, if they've never been to Busan? Why should they come here?
I would say Busan is the best place to live in Korea because there is no trouble here. It's better than Seoul, even though Seoul is the capital city and everyone thinks living in the capital city is the best. I think Busan is the best place to live.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Charles, and have a great day.
All right. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much to Tegan for that lovely interview and to Charles, our interviewee today from Nigeria.
Yeah. So been here in Busan for 3 years, right? He talked about the similarities that he's noticed between, back home for him, Nigeria, and our city of Busan. It seems like in Nigeria, they also have their kind of version of Chung as well. He mentioned, people here in Busan, like just random people you meet off the streets. You have that connection, that warmth between one another. And he felt the same, or he experienced the same back home in Nigeria. But I guess when it comes to actually contact between people, that's a little different because he mentioned here in Busan, if somebody's like drunk off the streets, we're supposed to kind of like help them up or something.
Yeah.
But in Nigeria, we're like, oh, like, I don't know if you're supposed to like just let that person be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some differences that he's experienced, but
course.
overall, it seems like he's fitting into
Yeah.
Busan life very nicely.
He loves it.
Yeah.
That's the long and short of it. He loves living in Busan. And why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It's the perfect place to be.
I feel like, it's a story for a lot of people. They come to Busan and it reminds them just a little piece of home for them in some aspect. And it just makes them so comfortable.
Yeah.
Getting used to things. Or
This is too much like my country.
because compared to like, okay, I'm not trying to, drag down places like the capital or anything, right? So, but because, if like living in like the big city, just buildings all around you, everybody just being more on the colder side, but you come here to Busan, like strangers, you still experience that warmth. But here in Busan, it's city, but also you have nature all around you, the beach and the mountains. So I think Busan's a very like good, like kind of like gateway city for like life here in Korea in general, right?
Yeah,
So
I agree.
yeah, Charles, you picked a good place to settle down.
It's a gorgeous place.
It is. 네.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Anyway, it's time for us to move along. But
Yes.
thank you to Taken and thank you to Charles for the interview. Of course, if you want to be on the mic, all you need to do, get in touch. We'll come and find you. Or you can be part of our very special Wednesday episode, My Life, My English, where you talk about your English language learning journey. So
That's fun as well.
get in touch and join us on our broadcasting.
We invite you.
We invite
Come.
you. We need you. Anyway, let's have a song, shall we?
Let's do it.
This is Michael Cimbello, Maniac.
Just a steel town girl on a Saturday night, looking for the fight of her life.
Oh, I love that song.
Dance Time on YouTube if you've been logging in it.
Do you know what? That used to be like a popular song when I was in dance class and we used to do competitions. That was a really popular song back in the day for dance teams to dance to and for solo like dances as well. And the people on the side would do this. Go, 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 to only this song. So that was in my head the whole time. I was dancing. I was shouting it to myself in my head.
Yeah,
I'm going to win this gold.
People are loving it on our YouTube. 우리 오겹살 좋아요님 saying dance time인가요? 네, dance time이었습니다.
That doesn't mean that they're loving it. Just stating that, it's dance time, is it?
Oh, it's not like, dance time인가요?
Yay! It's like,
dance time인가요?
All right. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Dr. Ryu's in the studio. Dr. Ryu was dancing as well. You missed it, Minsu.
Oh, he was moving too?
I mean, it was something.
Oh.
It was a flurry of artistic temperament.
We have a message that came in from Fritz Solanim on our YouTube asking, where is the Busan Pride? You have a New York Yankees cap, but no Lotte Giants memorabilia.
This is my husband's cap.
What is wrong with you, Laura?
I do not have a Lotte Giants. If somebody wants to give me a Lotte Giants cap or any other kind of cap, I'll wear it. Grabbed it on the way out the house because I thought I cannot show my dirty hair on camera. That's the truth. Didn't even know what was on the top of my hat, honestly.
I'll be honest, I don't own a Lotte Giants hat. A couple of jerseys, though, I do own. Fritz Neem. If I do get the opportunity, I'll wear that into the studio.
Yeah, do it.
Right? One of them signed, though. I don't know if I should. Right?
We've got Heyun Neem saying, what a treat to get to see Dr. Ryu's moves.
And I missed it. Dr. Yu, you know you had a camera in front of you, right? You did that on purpose.
Yeah, he did it on purpose. We were dancing together. It was beautiful.
Beautiful indeed.
It was beautiful. Anyway, time for us to move along. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us here inside at Busan on 90.5, 103.3 FM. I'm Laura McCluckey.
And I'm Min-Soo Shin. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah.
Let's see what the weather is shaping up to be.
Okie dokie. The mercury level is currently averaging around 19 degrees Celsius. Morning lows of 14, afternoon highs of 22 degrees Celsius. You'll notice a big temperature difference tomorrow afternoon, similar as today. So take good care of yourself, drink plenty of water. The UV index will be high tomorrow as well, so make sure you stay out of the sun or use a lot of sunscreen. In fact, just always use a lot of sunscreen anyway. 내일도 덥겠고요. 네. 자외, is it 자외선?
자외선 맞아요.
But what does it mean?
UV rays.
But why is it sun?
Sun?
자외선.
자외선? Doesn't sun means rays?
자외선 지수가 높겠습니다. 그래서 고맙습니다. 한국말 진짜 어렵습니다.
아니요. 저도 사실 I don't know why it's 자외선, but I always just think 자외선. Oh, UV
I think
rays.
자외선. 우회전.
또 그쪽으로 간다.
자외선.
When it comes to traffic, we have congestion on 만덕대로 from 만덕 Junction going towards 만덕 Tunnel, número 2. Congestion on 중앙대로 from 범내골 Junction going towards 서면 Junction.
범내골.
Slow-moving traffic on 장상로 from 대천 Interchange going towards 우동 Underpass.
Say udon reminds me of noodles.
I knew it.
Delicious.
I knew it. 그쵸.
So 배고파요.
그래서 여러분,
Drive safe.
and have a nice dinner.
Have a wonderful dinner.
네.
Eat your noodles and your 자외선 and enjoy it.
자외선을 먹으면 안 돼. 안 좋아.
I just learned a new word though. Anywho, it's time for Dr. Ryu. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Ryu's in the studio. Hello, Dr. Ryu.
안녕하세요. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. 안녕하세요.
오늘은 I'm gonna behave myself. Behave.
I don't believe it for 1 second.
Yeah.
You always tell yourself this in the beginning of right before the mics go up.
Okay.
And then you just slowly start to, the real
Get
Dr. Ryu
activated,
kind of creeps up,
I don't
right?
know.
Digress into chaos.
Yeah, whenever I go to some restaurants with my family, I
Bless you.
always say that, I don't have some appetite for this. And then when I take one bite of any food, it activates me. I get activated. So I couldn't help but doing myself. So being me. And then, this morning when I went to my clinic, my clinic door was blocked by a lot of fan letters from a lot of the audience.
Really?
Oh.
Nice.
I was just kidding.
Do you know why I know that Dr. Liu and I are both cool 아저씨들? It's because we both got our shoes off.
Oh, right? Oh, yeah.
You know what? I wasn't gonna say anything, but that's what the smell was.
No smell. We're
That's what
clean.
you think.
We're clean 아저씨s.
You know, my flip flop got a hole in the middle of my sole. So I didn't throw away my flip flop. I just amended with a specific tape and then the bond. So I've owned it for about maybe 4 or 5 years.
Very MacGyver of you.
I gotta MacGyver these flip flops.
버리기가 어려워요. 한번 바지만 입거나 아니면 신발 신으면 계속 정말 완전히 맨날 욕 먹고는 있습니다. 하지만 어떡해요? 사랑하는데.
낭비하지 않도록 잘하는
그렇죠.
거예요.
네, 맞아요.
오늘은
아직에 가자.
아직에 가는데 I ran out of my item. Anyhow, I came up with something, but it's already on internet. Anyhow, I'm gonna go for it. What's the greatest bean in the world? Not bean, just bean. 이거 long I sound돼요. Greatest bean in the world.
The greatest bean in the world.
Yes.
근데 저 사실 이거 알아요.
알죠?
뭐?
네. The greatest bean in the world. What's bean in Korean?
콩, 킹콩.
맞아.
맞아요.
That's it, right?
맞아요.
Ding dong ding.
Okay. Speaking of king, it reminds me of the movie that I saw with my family on Children's Day, which was about kind of a game story.
Yes.
And then the King Koopa, the Bowser, says his famous quote is, "Pain is the best teacher."
Yeah.
근데 그거 정말 잠깐 지나갔는데 정말 고통이 우리에게 주는 선물과 이게 교육은 정말 레슨은 정말 무한하다라는 걸 갖다가 가슴 깊게 와닿았어요. 아주 그 대목이 저의 마음에 딱 스탁했거든요. 그래서 오늘 주제는 페인으로 제가 준비했습니다. 통증에 대해서.
통증.
예, 통증.
Nice.
예.
There's different kinds of 통증 in general, but just like the pain, like our brains feel,
Yeah.
맞아요.
right?
Dr. Liu, I have a question. Is it true that women have higher pain thresholds than men?
Well, as far as I know, I'm not sure. But what the topic I'm going to talk about is fibromyalgia. In an epidemiologic study says that women are likely to have it more than men because they are affected by a lot of hormonal balances and problems and a lot of sacrifices. And when we look at the history of our mankind, and then women they have been suppressed by a lot of a patriarchal society. So that's why I think the pain has to do with a lot of emotional feelings. That's why I'm gonna talk about this a little more in detail. But first of all, according to the pain management guideline in patients published by World Health Organization, WHO죠. WHO에서 in September 2017, the number of patients with chronic pain is increasing worldwide. And to 2021, about 20% of the U.S. population suffers from chronic pain, and in Korea, about 22% of adults population, which is approximately about 11 million populations, are suffering from chronic pain.
Wow.
What's really important is that some people with suffering this chronic pain is they describe this pain as more severe than cancer pain. Because
Really?
yeah, it interferes with their daily activity. It impedes them. It blocks their daily productive life. So it reminds me of it's a sad story. I have a slipped disc on my neck. It's a friend of mine. He is a surgeon. He is a very promising plastic surgeon because he was into performing his skills, and then that's why he had to always bend his neck all the time. That's why that's the cause of slipped disc on his neck. So he suffered from that slipped disc pain, the radiculopathy. 방사통이라 그러죠. 목에 디스크가 있어가지고 팔까지 막 저린 거. 수술하는데 얼마나 많이 아프겠어요. 그래서 수술을 받았는데 너무 아파가지고 나중에 he killed himself.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my goodness.
yeah, that's right. That's why a lot of and the other day I talked about suicidal rate here in Korea. One of the biggest reasons why elderly citizens are committing suicide is chronic pain.
Yeah.
이 chronic pain이 그만큼 사람들의 삶을 힘들게 만들고 그 다음에 우리의 삶을 갖다 방해하고 모든 영역에서 in a social level, family level, in a national-wise level, it's really deteriorating our life. 그래서 중요한 토픽이라고 생각을 해요. 근데 여기서 오해는 없었으면 좋겠는데요. Pain actually is not created to torment our human beings. It's the body's alarm system. So, when 이거 정말 모든 생각이 나는데요. 제가 전공의 시절 때 when I was a trainee in university hospital, I saw a patient limping. He came to my office with limping leg. He says that, I feel something, some crackling sound. I feel it around my ankle. And I took an X-ray. His ankles were shattered. But he didn't feel any pain because he contracted with some syphilis, actually. So that's why it destroys his sensory system. So he doesn't feel any pain.
I mean, because, like the instance where, let's say, you fracture or you break a bone, because the adrenaline is kicking in, like you might not feel it, but then once you let that adrenaline settle, then the pain kicks in and something's wrong. But for the patient that you mentioned, a shattered ankle, but couldn't really tell you that maybe that slight pain that was continuous, not going away.
근데 그게 중요한 게 우리가 여러분들 앉아 있다가 약간 좀 버기거나 그러면 자리 이렇게 움직이고 막 움직이잖아요.
네.
그게 다 pain system 때문에 그래요. If you don't have any pain system on your body, you stays that posture for a long time. One part of your body might get kind of a necrosis.
Atrophy.
Atrophy or necrosis means not get enough blood supply. The cells are dying. So you might have a hole in your bottom or some parts of your body. 그래서 잠잘 때 우리가 불편하고 배긴다 그러죠. 이렇게 이런 게 바로 통증이 있기 때문에 우리를 보호해주는 시스템이거든요. 근데 나이가 들면서 이 통증이 생겨요. 근데 저도 통증이 있어서 약을 먹고 하는데 이 통증을 갖고 살게 되거든요. 여러분, when we look at our life, when we divide our life in 4 quarters, 20대까지, 40대까지, 60대까지, 80대까지 보면은 40대까지는 건강하게 사는데 40대 지나고 나면은 몸이 조금씩 아파와요. 그 다음에 이제 60대에서는 다 약을 먹고 그래서 healthy lifespan이 결국은 70대라고 얘기를 하더라고요. 그래서 이제 70대 이상에서는 항상 아픔 속에 살아가는데 글쎄요, it might be a selection bias. Selection bias means I'm a doctor, so I get to see a lot of sick, ill patients. That's why I might see this world as this world is filled with lots of people with a lot of ailments. 하지만 정말 고통 속에서 사는 걸 볼 때 안타까운 마음이 드는데 중요한 거는 약을 먹어도 잘 안 치료가 안 되고 그 다음에 아무리 치료해도 잘 안 되는데 가장 중요한 거는 고통과 함께 친구가 돼야지 되고요. 오늘 뭐 답을 말하겠어요. I'm gonna give away my answer.
Okay.
We have to change our lifestyle.
Oh yeah.
What we eat, what we are, what we do is what we are. 이게 정말 중요하다는 거를 다시 한번 말씀드리고 싶습니다.
What should we then be on the lookout for? So chronic pain, right? The doctor word for it is fibromyalgia.
Yeah, fibromyalgia. Fibro가 이제 섬유라 그러고 마이오가 이제 근육을 말하는 거고 알지아가 페인을 말하는 거예요. 여러분, if you're Korean listeners, looking up 섬유 근육통 치시면은 잘 이제 포털 사이트에서 잘 나와 있습니다.
So this is a pain that you would feel in your muscles then.
맞아요. 우리 온몸에 팔도 있고 다리에도 있고 온몸에 widespread pain. The symptoms of fibromyalgia are 3 criteria, which is includes widespread pain, and fatigue, and cognitive difficulties.
Okay.
And other symptoms might include some autonomic symptoms like irritable bowel syndrome or some bladder problems and things like that. Anxiety, depression as well.
Well, that's kind of like, if it's not like a specific muscle pain that you're having, like chronically, but the other things you mentioned, because that's like, it's nothing. I mean, it is something, but it's not something that people think it's serious all the time. You know what I mean? So that's why, like you mentioned, your patient, it took a long time to come into the hospital, take an X-ray, and see that his ankle was shattered.
But see, here's one thing that I know just from the studying that I've done in terms of pregnancy and labor and that kind of pain. So, long story short, when you feel more stress, you feel more pain, right?
맞아요. 정말 중요해요. For instance, if you have kids, when they have a bellyache, some kind of a water or some traveler's diarrhea, something like that. If you show them one of their favorite shows on your tablet PC, they're just focusing on that and then smiling, and then when the show is over, and then they're cramping. Oh, my belly hurts. So yeah, that's really, really true. It's not. I'm not saying that they're just trying to gain some other beneficial effects, just pretending to be sick. It's really, really true. For instance, we call it sensitization. 감작이라 그러거든요. Sensitization. The other day I talked about tinnitus, 이명에 대해서 얘기했는데 when you are focused on tinnitus for a long time, or when you are obsessed with that tinnitus, the brain circuit networks enforces itself.
Yeah.
That's why the sound of tinnitus it's really loud, gets louder.
Yeah.
So the more you have this kind of a pain system, pain sensation and pain bothering symptoms, we need to focus on something positive things. And then we need to break that vicious cycle.
Yeah.
그래서 치료제로 쓸 수 있는데 여러 가지 쓸 수 있는 게 있는데요. 여기서 또 말하고 싶은 게 하나 있어요. 여러분 포털 사이트 우리나라에서 when you look it up on our portal site, when 섬유근육통, we look it up the treatments of the options. They use not narcotics. They don't use opioid. They don't use that's the same thing. They don't use steroid. They don't use NSAID. NSAID means non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medicine, which is like a painkiller, so like Tylenol, things like that. Advil. They say that a lot of antidepressant.
Okay.
예, 그래서
to take their mind off the pain.
맞아요. 그래서 여러분 항우울제 이거 말하고 싶은데 항우울제가 우울증 때 쓰는 경우는 보다는 통증에도 많이 쓰이고 그 다음에 만성 두통이라든지 아니면 월경 전후 증후군이라든지 이런 데 많이 쓰이는 거고 또 it doesn't have an addictive entity. Everything is toxic in these days in this crazy life because the very bad news and the tragic news and then wars and very tragic stories kind of it hits me. It does in our body. 그런 경우에는 이제 포지티브하게 띵킹하게 해야 되는데 그럴 때 이제 쓰는 약이 엔타디프레센트인데 사실 엔타디프레센트라기보다는 뉴로트랜스미터 모듈레이터 뇌 신경을 갖다 좀 도와주는 거죠. 예. 근데 그거 말고 또 여러분들이 이제 항상 감사할 수 있고 포지티브한 생각을 갖는 게 중요해요. 그래서 제가 예전에 한번 얘기했어요. We are healthy because we are thankful for what we have, what we are granted, what we are given. 이게 우리가 건강해서 감사한 게 아니라 감사해서 건강하다고 하는 거를 꼭 알았으면 좋겠어요. 그래서 삶이 고통일지 모르나 그 고통이 있기 때문에 우리가 감사할 수가 있고 또 우리가 행복이라는 거는 불행이라는 걸 겪었기 때문에 그 행복의 그 맛이 더 값지고 더 아주 프레셔스하고 아주 그게 더 희열을 느낄 수 있는 그러한 삶이 되지 않을까 하는 생각을 해서 제가 오늘 이 페인에 대해서 준비해봤습니다. 그래서 오늘도 그렇고 여러분도 항상 힘들더라도 항상 즐겁게 생각하면 실제로 즐거워져요. One study, a lot of studies have shown that if you are trying to just to laugh out loud whenever you have a chance to laugh, it makes us feel really better. Yeah, we can reinforce, we can brainwash ourselves. 이렇게 되기 때문에 항상 많이 웃고 아까 춤춘 것처럼 그런 코트 있지 않아요? Dance as nobody is watching at you. Love someone as you've never been hurt like before. 그런 것처럼 최선을 다해서 사랑을 하고 그 다음에 아무도 안 보는 것처럼 남이 아무도 안 보는 것처럼 신경 쓰지 말고 춤을 추고 예, 그렇게 해서 여러분들 멋진 삶을 살았으면 하는 바람입니다.
And add to that, what you always say, 잘 먹고, 잘 자고,
잘 싸고.
잘 싸고.
잘 싸는 거 정말 중요해요. 그래서 brain cell, neuro aerobic이라 그랬죠. Neurobic. One of the best ways of enhancing our neuron healthier way to improve our cognitive function is 잘 싸는 건데요. When you go to the bathroom, when you have a bowel movement, just put down your cellular phone.
네.
And then go to your toilet and then close your eyes and to focus on what you are supposed to do. And then you feel catharsis when you experience this kind of a human nature.
Dr. Yu, we have a couple watchers on our YouTube. 우리 담비님 saying 좋은 말씀이십니다. 류 선생님 말씀처럼 늘 긍정적으로 생각하겠습니다. 라고 네, we have a list.
노력이 필요합니다. 하지만 진짜 노력하면은 실제로 그렇게 되더라고요.
네. And real quick, we have another YouTube person on our YouTube, 혜연님 saying 함께 있는 친구나 가족이 chronic pain, right? fibromyalgia로 힘들어할 때 어떤 식으로 도움을 줄 수 있을까요? 라고 질문합니다.
공감. 공감. Oh, that's not serious. Yeah, well, why don't you make a molehill? Why don't you make a fuss out of a molehill? 이런 식으로 얘기하면은 큰 상처가 될 수가 있고 그게 사람을 갖다가 무시할 수 있거든요. 근데 저도 제가 한 10년 전에는 통증 환자들을 볼 때에 뭐 저런 걸 가지고 아파하지 그랬는데 실제로 제가 병이 있고 아파보고 해보니까 이 통증이라는 거는 항상 서브젝티브한 거거든요. 그래서 다른 사람을 저지멘탈한다거나 컨디센딩 한다거나 그래서는 안 되겠고 할 수 있다라는 자신감을 심어주고 공감해주는 것. 첫 번째는 공감, 두 번째는 이겨낼 수 있을 거야? 라는 자신감을 심어주는 것. 네, 그렇게 하는 게 중요할 것 같아요. 우리가 직립보행하죠, 사람들은. 그러면 이제 스파인에 문제가 많이 생겨요. WHO designated that lumbar pain, back pain is the number one disability in our life. 첫 번째로 가장 우리 삶에 영향을 주는 것이 백페인인데 두 번째가 편두통인데 백페인이 생기는 원인이 이제 스파이널 스템 협착증이라든지 디스크인데 생활 습관이 중요하고 그 다음에 자세도 중요하고 운동하는 것 중요해요. 근데 사람들은 쉬운 방법을 많이 찾는 경향이 있어요. 약만 먹는다거나 아니면은 시술을 받는다거나. 근데 약 먹는 거는 진짜 눈 가리고 아웅이고 그건 실제 치료가 아니고요. 결국은 여러분들이 운동을 해가지고 그 근육을 갖다 발달시켜서 치료하는 것. 결국은 라이프스타일 모디피케이션 이게 가장 중요하다라고 말씀을 드리고 싶습니다.
Yeah.
Can I say something? I was listening to, do you know Dr. Joe Dispenza?
저 디스펜서.
너무 좋아요. Anyway, I was listening to him today, and I know you're talking about like have positive feelings and think positive, and so I think we've already talked about it. I always start every single day thinking about things that I'm grateful for to like start off that way. But he said, and I was listening to this kind of doctor's podcast, that because of smartphones and because of this distraction world that we live in, our ability to feel pleasure and happiness is decreasing because we need, so what we do, like a huge percent, 90% of the population reach for their smartphone, or the Western world reach for their smartphone as soon as they wake up. And then after that, what they do is they flood their brain with dopamine. So the dopamine receptors have been like hijacked and rewired. So it needs more and more stimulation to be able to just get like a low level of feeling happy. And so put your smartphones down.
그래서 스마트폰을 보게 되면 점점점 역치가 올라가가지고 조그만 것에서도 행복한 감을 느끼지 못한다는 거죠.
그렇죠.
네, 그래서 그러려면은 결국은 우리가 we have to come back to our analog period. Sometimes we have to 어떻게 디지털 프리 톡시 엔티 그런 뭐라 그러죠? 디지털 프리 타임을 갖는다.
Digital detox.
디지털 디톡스 이런 게 하는 게 되게 중요할 것 같아요.
Yeah. Just put the phones down, right?
Do you know what? I'm actually the Korean ambassador for World Digital Detox Day.
You are the ambassador for everything, it seems like. And
People
you
ask me to
follow
do
through
things.
with nothing.
I just say, sure. I'll do it.
제가 before I go, I just want to mention this one. 여러분 등산 같은 거나 하이킹 갈 때 막대기 짚는 거 그게 초보라고 생각하지 마세요. 여러분 막대기 스틱 집어야지 나중에 무릎이 안 깨지고 무릎이 망가지지가 않습니다. 첫 번째.
네.
두 번째는 방바닥에 앉아서 양반다리 하는 거 오래 하는 거 좋지가 않대요. 예, 스쿼팅 하는 것도.
네.
잠깐만.
그래서 여하간 그런 자세를 피하는 게 좋다라는 걸 알려드리고 싶고 우리 바디는 하나밖에 없어요. There's no replacement.
There's no plan B.
예. 그렇기 때문에 항상 아껴 쓰는 게 가장 중요하다는 것을 말씀을 드리고 싶고 있고 또 하나는 remember human body has an amazing natural healing ability.
Yes. So you got all the stuff you need from the inside. You got all those chemicals that you need on the inside.
Yeah. Right? But let's take care of what's inside too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All right, Dr. Yu, thank you so much. Today covering chronic pain. I'm going to get this one right. Fibromyalgia.
예, 맞아요.
Fibromyalgia, right?
섬유근육통.
네, thank you so much for another very informative segment with you. Dr. Yu, we'll see you back here next week, okay?
네.
Thanks, Dr. Liu. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, let's have a song. This is I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong. And I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. And so you're back from outer space. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have made you leave your key. If I'd have known for just 1 second you'd be back to bother me. Oh, now go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now. 'Cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to hurt me with goodbye? Just think I'd crumble
안녕하세요. 차가운 도시 남자 Inside Out Busan writer Steve라고 합니다. Winners of Inside Out Busan's listeners participation segment will get full course meal voucher from Golden Lizzie, a gourmet restaurant in Gyeonggi-dong and Yeonsan-dong, where you can taste cuisine from Michelin Guide featured Chef Kim. 미슐랭 셰프의 파인 레스토랑 골든 리지에서 10만 원 외식 상품권을 받을 수 있습니다. A place to entertain your brain and eyes, Museum of Illusions. 당신의 눈과 뇌를 즐겁게 하는 곳. 뮤지엄 오브 일루전 부산 착시미술관 입장권. Coffee voucher and a pack of fresh coffee, whole beans, sponsored by Into Roastery in Yangsan. 언제나 맛있는 커피를 신선하게 만드는 양산에 위치한 Into Roastery 원두 커피. 커피 향 좋다. A delicious brunch for two from Gorilla Brewing Busan, Gwangan branch, the leader of Korean handmade beer culture. 수제 맥주 전문점 고릴라 브루잉 부산에서 제공하는 식사권. Admission tickets for the Busan Next to Sky top floor observatory, which is located at LCT in Haeundae, the highest place in Busan. 부산 대표 랜드마크 해운대 LCT에 위치한 하늘 위의 바다. 부산 Next to Sky 전망대 입장권을 선물로 드립니다. 저랑 같이 가실까요?
It's time for 호기심 천국.
호기심 천국 시간입니다.
This is the part of the show where we bring you clips of things that you're really not that curious about until you hear the clip and you're like, yeah.
That means they're being curious about it, you know? Like
You just didn't know.
subconsciously.
You just didn't know you were curious.
Right?
Yeah.
So another curiosity that I have brought for our listeners this time.
Yeah.
You know when you walk into, let's say, like a baby store. Not a store where you buy babies, but baby stuff, right?
I would always be in that store.
How do you know if you are in the girl section or the boy section of the baby store?
Because, well, actually, these days, not so much. I have to
guess,
say.
yeah, but like, you know,
all the girl
generally.
stuff is pink and all the boy stuff is blue.
Exactly. But why is that? Why is pink always associated with girls and blue always associated with boys? Let's first listen to today's clip.
For centuries, all kids wore dresses and grew their hair long until the age of 6 or 7. This wasn't just because little kids look adorable in dresses, it was for practical reasons. Toilet training was much easier in a dress and diapers, since the fasteners that held up pants in those days weren't easy for kids to use. On top of that, it took kids much longer to grow out of a dress than a pair of pants, which meant parents didn't need to spend as much money on clothes for their kids. Around the mid-1800s, children's clothes started hitting the shelves in pastel colors like pink and blue, but they weren't intended to be gender-specific. By 1918, that had changed. The general rule at the time was pink for boys and blue for girls. The reason, according to an article from that year, was, quote,
pink being a more decided and stronger color is more suitable for the boy, while blue, which is more delicate and dainty, is prettier for the girl.
That's right. Less than 100 years ago, our idea of pink and blue was the complete opposite. So, when did the color switch happen? It started in the late 1940s when the concept of the ideal American family took shape. Men were expected to join the workforce, while women were expected to stay at home with the children. Retailers and marketers started packaging more feminine products in pink, and mothers started buying them up. From that point forward, pink was more and more associated with femininity, but it wasn't until the 1980s that the line between boy and girl colors became clear. For the first time, parents could find out the gender of their baby before it was born. Expecting parents wanted to shop for their new baby, and businesses realized that pink and blue could make them some serious green. Around the same time, laws were passed which let companies advertise their products to kids without nearly as many rules as there used to be. So, kids today are exposed to...
Yeah, I think that's a dumb rule.
I mean, I think these days, a lot of people don't pay too much attention to it. But, yeah, before, pink meant for girls and blue meant for boys. But I had no idea it was the other way around. Well, Okay, so here in Korea, if we go back, let's say 100 years, everybody wearing hanbok and everything, there was no really color color discrimination, color stereotype in that regard, because the hanbok that guys wear these days, there's pink.
Yeah,
and
of
blue and
course.
yellow and everything, right? So it's more of this Western idea that blue is for boys and pink is for girls that kind of came over here to Korea
The troubles in the world started in the West.
with more modern fashion, right? So it was really interesting to hear how before actually pink was for boys and blue was for girls, because pink was a more strong color because men are
So
strong.
it was still sexist.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still sexist.
Yeah.
It was just sexist with a different color.
Yeah, but that was like, the 1920s and 1930s. What do you expect, right? Well, in the U.S. So it all changed when, in the 40s, they mentioned when, men, they were the ones to go out and work those blue-collar jobs, right? Getting their hands dirty and everything. So that's why blue then was changed to more associate with men, doing, the strong, macho stuff.
I'm a manly man.
Right. Whereas then the pink, they saw that as a more feminine color. So, moms taking their children to stores, everything's in pink. So moms, associate pink with femininity, kind of, right? Kind of like, it's a cute color, let's say, compared to blue. And that's why down the road, years and years later, we have baby stores. Not so much these days, but before, boys is for blue. I mean, blue is for boys and pink is for girls.
We see that in toy shops as well. Mm-hmm. I remember, so my son, when he was very little, he used to love pushing things around. He used to love coming shopping with me, and it's such a wonderful learning experience for children. And the little mini shopping trolleys that you get at the shop are bright pink with yellow wheels.
Yeah.
And he loved it. Mm-hmm. And I remember going to the shop and many ajumas, 할머니s, 진짜 이 남자가 왜 여자 장난감으로 하는 거야?
맞아요.
Why is a boy shopping? Why is a boy using a pink cart? Why are you doing shopping with your mum? Most people don't do that, but some people are like, why is your son pushing around a pink cart?
Yeah.
He's a boy.
Yeah, and
Made
I feel
me
like
furious.
And I feel like
you felt the fury.
I feel like boys get that more in society, whereas there's more freedom for girls.
You get little dresses with blue and yellow flowers on, blue jeans, blue everything.
Yeah, and not just that, when it comes, because I have a daughter, these days, we let her kind of pick and choose like the color she likes, and color she wants. And I feel like, us, like me, and my wife as her parents, we're kind of free with that. But when it comes to like, her grandparents on both sides or even other people, they don't think it weird when, let's say, my daughter chooses a really like a boyish thing as a present. Like she loves insects, right? And she loves like Pokemon, like those Pocket Monsters.
Yeah.
And they're like, girls are not supposed to like that. But I feel like it's more like boys. Oh, because you're a boy, you're not supposed to like this. You're supposed to like this.
It's really damaging, That's a really damaging thing. I think children need to be nurtured, and whatever they're interested in, it should be encouraged. Like, my son had a baby doll when he was little, and he used to put it on a little mini podegi on his back and walk around with it.
Yeah.
And that's adorable. And now he is a fantastic big brother to his baby sister. And so I think humans need to be nurtured as humans. And I mean, people will naturally gravitate towards things that they like.
Yeah.
But actually, I banned the color pink from my baby shower.
Yeah, you have this dislike for the color pink.
I don't dislike pink. I just think I don't want it to be like, this is a girl, so she has to wear pink.
Yeah. Okay. So not like what the color represents, right?
You know that
like
I'm all
pink
about
is...
Viva Magenta. I'm wearing pink today.
Yeah.
Light pink.
So, I just wanted to bring this up to our listeners just to show them the idea where pink and blue for boys and girls came from. But it's very different these days, I think, when it comes to just, the younger generation of parents, not letting, blue is only for boys and pink is only for girls, kind of let them get in the way.
Yeah.
I feel like this is how maybe the more older generation thinks. And I see the change. in that view and their perspective, especially when it comes to the younger, newer parents. Yeah.
However, you're wearing blue and I'm wearing pink today.
We are fitting into these stereotypes.
없습니다.
네, 이거 일부러 한 거 아닙니다.
Yeah.
Right?
Anyway.
That'll do it for today's 호기심, and that'll do it for the show.
Yeah, well, thank you for the 호기심, and thank you for joining us today, listeners. We have a gift receiver.
Yes, we will bestow upon today's gift to
Fred Neem. Congratulations to you,
of
Fred Neem.
Kakao Talk.
Fred of Kakao Talk. Well done.
Congratulations to you.
Also of YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And the final song for you is I'll Be Good to You by Ray Charles.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice one.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah, today's show produced by Cho Yun-jin, written by Im Soo-jin, hosted by Laura McLucky.
And hosted by Min Soo-shin. Have a good one.
부산을 한 장의 사진에 담는다면 어디로 가야 할까요? 꼬꼬마 시절, 이때만큼은 세상을